This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, we're starting the meeting for the Department of Public Works on February 7th at 12:11. And I'm requested to ask, the question is, anybody else recording beside LCAT on this meeting, according to the Mass General laws?
I'm actually recording via Zoom for the meeting today.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yep.
Well, I guess the first the item on the agenda is review and approve meeting minutes of 1/25/2023. So, Mike, have you been able to take a look at the meeting minutes?
Yes, I have, and I don't have any adjustments to make. Pending any adjustments, I make a motion to approve those minutes.
And I second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
I guess it's a roll call because we're on Zoom. So Mike, you're an aye, and Phil Aber is an aye also.
Excellent.
The next item on the agenda is the second review of the proposed 2024 operational budget for the DPW department. And we already had one meeting on it already, and there was a few changes Bruce was going to be making or taking a look at the utilities and waste collections and any other items that may be able to sharpen a pencil on to some degree. And Bruce sent out the copies of the revised budgets. So I've taken a look at them. I'm pretty much satisfied, and I was just wondering how you are, Mike.
Agreed. I looked at the updated budget that was sent out. Outside of that, there weren't any changes that weren't notified to us. At this time, I don't have any other comments to make.
Okay.
I believe that today we'll be making a vote, but I do just want to reiterate what I said at our last meeting. A lot of that was captured within the minutes that, I really appreciate what the board has been able to do in reviewing that process and all the work that Bruce and his team did to build the budget. So I don't have any other comments or adjustments at this time.
And I tend to agree with you, Mike, with your same comments. We made some comments in the last meeting on it, and I think Bruce demonstrated his dedication to looking and take a second look at the budget and sharpening the pencil overall. So I'm at the point now to accept the motion to accept the 2024 budget.
If you guys,
Unless you want to explain what adjustments you made, Bruce, in it.
I think because our last meeting, getting feedback, our last meeting wasn't recorded. So I'm just going to go through each division on the bottom line. Okay. And just give you what the increase was from last year. So if the people at home, obviously the last meeting wasn't recorded. So to give them an opportunity to see what our actual budget for each division would be, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. How about you, Mike?
Excellent. So I will get started with the building maintenance division. There is no update from the previous meeting, but under the building maintenance division, our FY23 appropriation was $891,105.65. We've increased that division total to $960,527.56, with a total increase of 7.79% for the building maintenance division. Under the highway division, last year's budget for FY23 was $1,896,878.26. For FY24, we are requesting $1,955,428.95, for a total increase under the highway division of 3.09%. Under the sewer division, last year's appropriation was $1,862,177.66. This year, we are requesting $2,063,368.75 for a total sewer division increase of 10.8%. Under the snow and ice division, no increase from last year. That division stays stable at $148,172. Under waste collection, there was a slight adjustment to that division based on our last meeting. We've actually added one 3-hour period per week from the month of October 1st to November 30th for leaf removal or in collection. So from last year, from our FY23 budget was $108,212. For the FY24, we're looking for $130,376 with a total division increase of 20.5%. Under the water division, last year we appropriated $2,549,467.27. We are requesting an increase to $2,683,558.94 for a total division increase of 5.3%. Under the utility division, we requested $1,319,100 in FY23. We are requesting an increase to $1,770,480 for a total division increase of 34.2%. This is a decrease from our last meeting. After our last meeting, I went back into our utilities budget, more specifically gas, and basically talking to our broker, we are confident we can get that number down from $2.10 a therm to below $1.30 per therm. So I put in the calculations for the natural gas at $1.30 per therm, which reduced our budget from our last draft budget of $128,500. So that's some good news as well. Under the stormwater division, no changes from our last meeting. Last year, we were requesting under FY23, $285,145.52. This year, we were requesting $360,049.09 for a total division increase of 26.3%. So for a total public works for all divisions under for FY24, we're looking at an increase of 11.17% at $10,071,961.29. So just to give everybody kind of an overview for the general fund liabilities, we're looking at an increase of 3.4% without the increase of the utility budget. So this is just operational expensive minus obviously the utility increases from last year. So that's a 3.4% increase. But if you added in salaries and expenses and the utilities for the general fund, you're looking at a 13.8% increase.
So basically, the utilities really drive the overall budget in the upcoming year.
Exactly.
Versus, but there is an increase in operating supplies and stuff that
Yes.
kind of expected with the economy flow, but
Right.
but really it's the energy costs that are driving our overall budgets.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's right, but also a credit to Bruce and his team. I mean, you think about a reduction from say $2.10 a therm to under $1.30, resulting in over $100,000 in a proposed budget saving.
Yep.
That is enormous when it comes to the budget. And if there's any type of narrative that you have to create, Bruce, for the oversight committee,
Yep.
I think that is something that should be included, because the exposure to the town could have been much higher
Sure.
had this latest analysis not been done. So that's great news.
Awesome. Thank you. Just keep in mind, like I said, if you guys make a motion to, obviously us to submit this budget, please do so. And then obviously I will have this paperwork out front if you guys have time to stop in the next week or two to sign the operational budget.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah.
So would you like to make a motion, Mike, to
Yeah.
to accept this budget?
At this time, I make a motion to approve the FY 24 Department of Public Works budget.
I second it. All those in favor, Mike
Aye.
and Phil Aber is an aye.
Excellent.
So moving on, did you want to go through the other business, Bruce, as far as Mike had a request or the board basically had a request at looking at the fiscal 23 status
Sure,
from a financial standpoint?
absolutely. I'll make it.
It gives people a little update of why the budgets are climbing so much to some degree, but at the same time, a status of where we are in trying to maintain our current status as far as what's been allowed from a financial standpoint with our current year budgets.
Yep, absolutely. So overall, the budget I sent you guys out for FY 23 was on 1/27 of 23, which is a year-to-date analysis of 58% of the year that has gone by. So typically, that's how we run our reports. So our managers know how far we are through the year and how much obviously was expended. So total for the total public works, we're at roughly about 47% of our total money spent through all our divisions. So we're in pretty good shape. But
That's roughly almost, like you said, 7 months of the year.
yes, roughly, yes. Yep. So year to date, so original appropriation for total public works was $8,695,916. Year to date expended was $4,016,024.10. So that's a 40%, 47.0% expended so far. Okay.
Bruce, I have a couple of questions. If you continue on this trend, you could see a surplus at the end of the year.
Yes.
Given we're almost 7 months through the fiscal year and we're about 50% expended. Do you have a plan, and do you have the ability to move funding within your budget to find ways to utilize it that benefits the department and the town?
Yeah, unfortunately, enterprise funds are enterprise funds. Whatever isn't expended goes back right into that fund.
Right.
General fund liabilities, you can't move salaries to operational expenses, but you could obviously just the expense portions, you can move things around. But overall, I think we're in good shape until we get to April, May, and getting a better understanding on where we are financially. These are where we make these decisions on obviously expending those funds if we deem them necessary. More specifically, I know there's a lot of pedestrian safety things out there. This gives us an opportunity to go buy an RFB to put out at a heavy traffic location where the sidewalks are involved or heavy walkers. Gives Daryl the time to purchase some type of equipment like small mowers or things like that within the surplus funding. And also with the building division as well to obviously purchase tools or things of that nature in order to get us ahead in the next coming year. And also with the building division too, when we get to that point in time of the year, roughly about 80% spent, we make that determination on buying the filters for the upcoming year ahead of time to save those expenses for FY 24. So in the backfield, we do a lot of these things depending on where we are and depending on the line item where has that surplus monies in it. So it's pretty basic, but we typically wait for that moment. And also other department heads like the police chief and or the fire chief, typically we wait to this point in time for special project requests, replacing carpet in a room. I know the police chief wants us to take down that giant monopole there for the old communication system. So that that removal is $10,000 alone. So this is what we do with our surplus funds that we have every year, depending on if we think it's a good project to complete.
No, it sounds like you have everything under control. You said a lot of the things that I know, I do in my realm. And so
Sure.
just keep doing that. It seems like you have a great plan ahead for, the wish list phase that you would go through when you can determine discretionary spending. So, I would just add that in terms of supply chain, continue to work and communicate with the vendors that you most commonly work with to ensure that you're going to get those supplies by the end of the fiscal year. You don't want to risk funds and then not receive something in time, that would hurt you over 2 fiscal years. So,
and keep in mind too, and when we do have these issues, we encumber the money, we process a PO. So sometimes, like I said, even though we order, say in May, beginning of May, we may not receive that till August, but we've encumbered the monies that's been taken out of our budget. So it obviously helps, just like you said, for next year's budget. So thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say you have to keep a close eye on everything, Bruce, because I noticed the water and sewer enterprise funds were on the lower side of expenditures on a year-to-date basis. And that's kind of expected given the winter time.
Yeah.
And things pick up in the spring. And the utilities, when I looked at that item, it's electric expenses that seem to be low, but that's because the rates change at the end of the fall,
Right.
coming into December.
Right.
And so I expect the higher expenditures in the second half of the fiscal year on electric utility costs coming in from the schools and stuff.
Yep.
So as Mike said, I think you're doing a really great job of keeping an eye on everything, and same with all the fellows in the departments, and then keep up the good work and use your discretion to the best of your ability that you've been demonstrating. And hopefully we could end this year, within our budgets and do the few extra things that you talked about as we go forward. So
Thank you.
excellent job, fellas. The next item on the agenda, I guess, is just any other business beside the fiscal 23?
I do, obviously, I'll be working on our rates and fees. I'm actually working on it right now, so I'm hopeful to get a meeting maybe between our next scheduled meeting, because our next one is scheduled for March 21st for the MVP action grant. This is just a public meeting.
Yes.
We'll give a status update of the MVP action grant progress. It's part of the grant process for public education and outreach on what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we have that meeting scheduled for March 21st. If I do end up getting ahead of the rates and fees, I'll try to schedule something before then.
Do you think you'll have the principals and interest expenses on the rate structure?
Yes, I actually just received those this week. And I
Okay.
believe, Phil, I want to say they're with the updated budget. So those numbers I gave you
Include it?
are, I believe, that are in there. Okay,
I just wanted to make sure.
for water, sewer, and stormwater. Yep, those numbers are all reflected in the bottom lines in all the enterprise funds.
I thought they may be, but I wanted to just double check with you, because I'd be looking at that when we look at our rate structure
Exactly.
overall, especially the water and sewer.
Yep.
And the stormwater.
Yep.
Rate.
Yep.
Going up $7 doesn't sound like a lot as far as a total number going to 32, but from 25 to 32,
Yep.
and it's a new enterprise fund.
Yep.
You just want to understand what's driving it and how we could, figure that one out overall going forward.
Yep. Well, obviously, the main driver is obviously that new position where we're.
Right, that's what's driving that cost overall, but we spent some money on new equipment,
Sure.
and so I'm looking for it, some activity to be done with that fund
Yes.
as we go through meeting the new requirements. and pushing forward.
Sure.
So if you have anything else to say, Mike, or you want to make any comments?
I don't have anything to add to new business, just continue to, to offer myself as a resource if to reach out for any type of questions, any way that Phil or myself can be helpful to the department. I think we've covered a lot of great material the last couple of meetings, and it's really an exciting time within the fiscal year. And, as the weather will start to warm up and programs will start to begin, to be able to have those wish list items available and purchase it. It's really how you add value. It's things that you probably didn't plan on actually completing. When you have that discretionary spending become available, it's a great opportunity. So really an exciting time for the department.
Yep.
And just one other comment. I hope, Daryl, that you keep in track with the in conjunction with the recreation department with the fields in the springtime as we move forward. You did a great job last year with the comments I received from the recreation department, and I hope that you guys continue to do that.
We've already sent out our first